it's Claina. Today we'll be taking a look at the Floral Cross die set. Now this is the newest addition to the light art range. Now previously you've seen the Serenity, which was a 3D angel sculpture, and the light art component was that the light actually created Serenity's wings. The next addition was the Diamond Heart die set. And with that one, I actually did raise all the way around the heart, and it can kind of fill up a whole wall. It's really dramatic, that one. And then today is the cross. Now, this is the cross from the packaging. It's a 3D cross, but then you've got this lovely floral overlay. We do kind of associate crosses with Easter, obviously. So I wanted to give it more of a spring touch. Being this time of year, so we've got some flowers and leaves here. Now all I've done with this one is I've cut the overlays in the same cardstock as I cut the base, which is 300 GSM, but you can go lighter than that. What you need for this die set is you need your dies, you need some, I would say, medium weight cardstock. You don't have to go to 300 GSM, and then you need some lights. Where you purchase your die set may well be bundled with the lights, but if you wanted any additional lights for future projects, what you're looking for is the 0.5 meter version. The Diamond Heart needed the longer one, so that needs the 1 meter version, but the Serenity and the Floral Cross both need the 0.5 meter. And that's the strip lights. They're ever so easy to use because they're self-adhesive, but I will show you that later. Okay, let's have a look at the parts. Before I do that, I just want to mention, if you're going to be using this as just a sculpture, you know, maybe you're not going to hang it on your wall, maybe you're going to have it propped up on a mantelpiece or sideboard or something like that, and so it won't be projecting light against a wall, then you don't need to use the light element. And then in that case, what you would do, looking at the cut list here, is the 4 end sections that have the holes in, you would just cut them without the hole insert. And the box for wrapping the lights around, which is this piece here and that little piece at the top, so those two there, you won't need those two either. So you don't need those two. You wouldn't necessarily need a wall hanger if you're not going to cut the wall hanger, so it could be those 3. And then you'll still need this piece, but you just wouldn't add the hole insert, because you wouldn't be adding a light. So that's the only difference. You would still cut all the other pieces for your cross. Okay, so here are all of my pieces. I have actually gone ahead and attached some of the pieces together, so you only see one overlay here. But that's because, I mean, once you've seen me do one, it's straightforward. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at my overlays. Okay, so when you're adding your overlays, you want to fold all of your score lines on your piece, and then that way it's easier to get a nice even border around your decorative piece, your overlay. Okay, now I cut my piece out several times from different colours of cardstock to do paper piecing. I do not recommend you do that, because there are too many pieces in this particular design that are too similar to each other, so it was quite difficult. It was a bit tricky to kind of sort them out, but don't worry, there are other things you can do to bring colour to it. So the best way is if you cut these from some cardstock that's got double-sided sheets on the back of it, so this is essentially a sticker, you could then pop it onto either vellum or acetate. You can trim around the shape, and then when you turn it over, you can colour in with your alcohol markers on the back. We've all got alcohol markers in our stash, but if not, you know, any other medium you have, I'm sure will be fine. But I think that would give you a lovely smooth finish. And then just go through, pick out the colours you want to be flowers, pick out the leaves, and just colour them in, and then you can decide if you want to put a background colour in or not. And then you'll get a lovely kind of stained glass effect. Another thing you could do is, as here, I've just done kind of tone on tone with the cardstock. Imagine if that was a darker cardstock. I'm thinking something like a charcoal grey. And then you could go on with some gilding wax in silver. Or how about do it in a really dark brown and put gold on it? Something like that, you know, just take it away from the kind of black on black. But of course, that is a fantastic option. So if that's something that you wanted to consider, to add some metallics to it, that would be a great option. If you went kind of charcoal grey and went over it lightly with silver, you'd make it look like a pewter piece. That would look fantastic. I want to make one like that now. Okay, so like I said, I've actually gone ahead and done a lot of paper piecing. So here is how it looks when it's paper pieced. Isn't that pretty? Now that, if we do a comparison now, can you see how you can get such different looks? I mean, you can obviously see that there's flowers and leaves there, but it's not as obvious as this one. And that's what I mean about I wanted to bring a bit of spring, you know, Easter time to this project. So I think that's lovely. But I would recommend bring this kind of colours, you know, the kind of colours in with some markers. Do yourself a favour. Okay, so I've gone through and I've added my overlays to all of my pieces bar this one. So we'll go ahead and we will get this one done. Now I'm just spreading this onto the back of my hand. You could spread it onto a piece of old, you know, packaging, acetate packaging or something, and it would do a very similar job. Because you don't need an awful lot, because it's a very lightweight piece. Okay, and can I, as I can easily see all my edges, I can get it nice and centered. Okay, and then all I'll do is I will drop a dot of glue in the holes and put my little paper pieces in. Okay, so that's all of our pieces paper pieced. Now, if you have a look here where they all meet up in the middle, we've got a couple of extra tabs. So we don't have any tabs on this bottom piece, so we don't need any on that piece because we've got all the tabs we need on these side pieces. So we'll just snip those off. So we'll just snip along the score line. And because we've folded on there, it's easier to see. If you don't want to do this with scissors, you could do it on your guillotine. Let's go ahead and start gluing these together. Right, I think the first thing we'll do is we'll glue our little triangles on the ends. So I want to do one side at a time. So when I pop that on, I need to make sure that the point is right on that score line. But because as soon as we put this on, it becomes 3D, it's a lot easier to put one side on at a time. Make sure it's taken hold. time to start adding the sides. So we've got 2 for the long length at the bottom here, and then the short ones. Now the short ones, the ones with the holes, if we're adding lights, need to be top and bottom, and then the other ones need to be here on the sides, like this. Like that. Oh, that's a bit wonky, wasn't it? Okay, so that's kind of how they attach on. Okay, so the tabs, it can go either way round, but so you just need to decide on a direction for your tabs, because these pieces are kind of, they can go either way. So I think I'm going to have it so my tabs are all on the right hand side. So I'll start adding those on. All those panels are now in place, so we can go ahead and start joining them up. I think I'll start at the bottom. So I've got all my tabs in the same direction, they're all going around to the right hand side, so everything should go together nice and easily. I just want to let that sit for a minute. And let's put the box together. Okay, so these pieces we're just going to join together in a row. Okay, so as we fold this up, we can fold the tops down as we go, and we can glue it together as we kind of fold it in. So you don't need to fold along that score line. It's just a placement holder, kind of a mark for how much you need to overlap. It's like the tab is where you put your glue, so you can see where the line is. And then one by one, we'll fold these into a little box, just gluing that tab on the top as we go. And on this last one, you'll need to tuck that one inside. Oh, and your end tab. So once you roughly get them in, you can just give them a squeeze once they're in place. And I'll push down on the top. Make sure that's all taken hold. Okay. Now these pieces, so that top one's a valley fold, so they come forward. And these join together in a square. So I'll put some glue on all those end tabs. I actually bent my end tabs on these, but I didn't need to at all. So this is our little back piece for our box. And then we'll add some glue to the outside of these tabs. Pop it over our box, and then and there we have it. It's like a little top hat kind of thing. Now that is what is suspended inside here for our lights to go around. Okay, so these are our backing pieces. Right, so I'm going to join these together, and again on these you've got the little marking line. You don't need to fold on that tab. It's just for like placement and gluing. Okay, so this goes together like that. They all overlap just on that little tab. those four pieces of glue together. Now I'm going to turn it face down onto my work surface, and then, because I'm going to attach my box to the back of here, so I can attach my lights before I put it into my cross. So I just need some glue on each of these corners. Okay, so now we need our lights. So the first thing we need to do is put our batteries in, and it just pops open here, and you'll see there's a cross here and a circle here. If you have a look at your lights, on the flat back there's a cross. So that one has the cross facing down, and this one has the other side facing down. Okay, so you can see my lights are working, so I'll just turn those off. Okay, just unravel them. We've got a blue liner on the back of our lights here because they are self-adhesive, so they're ever so easy to use. I want to start attaching them from the other end though, so I'm just going to get my pokey tool, and I'm just going to get underneath that liner and just free it up from the light. There, you can see I've not gone just in between the two, just loosening it up a bit, and then that means I can snip near that black cable kind of clip there, and I've exposed the adhesive. Right, okay, so when we put these on here, ultimately I'm going to be gluing, actually that's a good point, maybe I'll put my red liner tape on now. I'm going to put some red liner tape onto the back of my battery box. So it will stay put inside my cross. Okay. That's that done. So that's all ready to go. Right, so this goes in here like that. But I want my battery box to be down here somewhere. So then I want to start gluing my lights from about here. So I'm pulling back some of the blue liner and just sticking it onto the box. And I'm going to stick it right at the bottom, because we can go around a couple of times with this, make it as bright as we can. So that then means that the battery part is aiming towards the long part of the cross. So just stick this down, just release some of the liner, then press it into place, give it a good squeeze, and then keep on going round. If it ever gives way, you know, kind of comes away, you can always add some red liner tape behind or squeeze a little bit of glue in. Right, I'm back to the start. So I'm just gonna take a little bend and then start a new row. As you can see, this is so much easier to put on before you pop it into your cross. And this will make it nice and bright. Okay, that's all we need. So I can snip it off there. So if you snip it off, I mean, you can just carry on and wrap that round, but wherever you snip it, you want to snip it across where the two copper pieces are, and there's a black line, sorry, going through the middle of those two copper pieces. So you can safely snip there. Okay, I'm going to give it all a bit of an extra squeeze. Make sure it's all sticking nicely. Let's give it a check, make sure it's all working. Yep, there we go. So our box is all lit all the way around. Okay, so when I put that in, it means that my battery box will need to be adhered just here on the left hand side. So I'll take the red liner tape off, and I'll need to make sure it's underneath the score line. So it won't foul the back piece going on. Okay, that's in place. Okay, now we can go ahead and attach our back piece on. Right, now the back layer is on, we can put our wall hanger in place. Now you'll see there's like a little mark on here, like a U shape, so you can see where to add your glue outside of that, and then you can pop it in. So you can see where to line it up in that hole. There, and that's in place. So that's your little wall hanger. If the wires are protruding and they're stopping your cross from lying flat on the wall, just attach them to the side with some sticky tape, just regular sticky tape, and that will keep them out of the way. Mine aren't protruding, so I'm okay. But because we've taped the box down here, it's nice and easy to get to turn it on and off, and to replace the batteries. Okay, so that's our cross finished, and it's a nice colourful version compared to the one I did for the packaging. Now this one I actually completed out of 300 GSM. This one I did out of 216 texture card. What I have found is that the sides, see the front is absolutely fine because that's doubled up with your overlay panels, but the side here and the back is a little bit not as sturdy as I'd like. So, but there's no problem, you can absolutely use 216 for this. The only thing is you might want to cut an extra layer for your back to strengthen that, and I think that'll help an awful lot. You can go ahead and do double on all the side panels as well if you like, but I think if you did an extra layer on the back, that would strengthen the whole thing up and you'd be fine. But yeah, I would recommend a medium weight cardstock, but obviously look, I've gone heavyweight and I've gone lightweight card, and it's worked absolutely fine with both. So there you are, that is the Floral Cross. I'd love to see what versions you come up with, which way you choose to go. Are you going to go with the gilding wax idea? Are you going to go with the stained glass idea with your vellum or your acetate? So I'm really looking forward to seeing what you create with yours. If you choose to add lights to yours as well, we'd love to see some pictures of yours with your you know, with the lights casting against the wall. In fact, we'd love to see some pictures of all of your projects from the light art range. So if you've got an angel or the diamond heart as well, share them in the group. We'd absolutely love to see them. We really, me and all of the inspiration team get a real kick out of seeing what you're making, so we'd love for you to do that. I hope you enjoy this project. It's quite a simple project, but it's quite effective, I think, because during the day you get this lovely decorative cross with all the, you know, decorative overlays, but then in the evening time when you put the light on, it becomes a bigger and more elaborate project. It's almost like an art piece, but it's all made with light. So the light is designed just as much as the cross is. Hope you enjoy making it, and I hope you enjoy displaying it in your home.